and they assembled them at the place which in Hebrew is called Armageddon. I'm Dr. Paul Petersen. Welcome to another Tidbits from the book of Revelation. We have arrived in chapter 16, the chapter with the 7 plagues. What is Armageddon? What's the meaning of the term? To answer that question, we need to understand what the plagues are all about. This is yet another series of 7 in the book of Revelation. We had 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, now 7 plagues. How do these plagues relate to the previous series of 7? When you look at the trumpets and the plagues in particular, you find a number of similarities. Number 1 hits the earth. Number 2 hits the sea, for both trumpets and plagues. Number 3 hits the springs and the rivers. Number 4 hits the sun. In number 5, the darkness covers the earth. In number 6, the river Euphrates is mentioned, both in the plagues and the trumpets. In the 7th trumpet, the heavenly tribunal declares that God has taken over his heavenly kingdom. In the 7th plague, the destruction hits the kingdom of the world. So do these remarkable similarities mean that the 2 series of 7s, the trumpets and the plagues, are identical? Actually, on the contrary. If you have seen the tidbits from Revelation 15, you will have heard about the symbol of the 2 wines. How God let Babylon give nations, including Israel, to drink of the cup of his wrath. Now when God has accomplished his purpose with having the people, especially Israel, drink of Babylon's cup, God will take the cup of his wrath and give it to Babylon. What you find is that the plagues are a retribution motif. The tribulations that Babylon has caused over the people of God will now lead to God retributing what hit the people of God by the hands of Babylon will now hit Babylon itself. So this is something that happens on the other side. When people have left Babylon, when those who want to listen have heeded the call and have come out of Babylon, then the plagues will be poured out as a retribution. And then let's move further to the 6th of these plagues. Verse 12 puts it this way: the 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates. Its waterways dried up to prepare the ways away for the kings from the east. Who are these kings? What is he talking about? In the parallel between the historical events of the exile and exodus in and from Babylon, Revelation points to one specific event. You remember maybe from Tidbits 15 that throughout the latter part of the book of Revelation you have a pattern of events that clearly parallel those events back in the Old Testament history of Babylon. Now, when Babylon fell, it happened this way. The Persian king Cyrus arrived. He's called a king from the east in Isaiah 41:2. He arrived and saw that it was almost impossible to mount the walls of Babylon. So he implemented another strategy. He dried up and diverted the river of the Euphrates, which ran through the city. By diverting the streams of the river, he was able with his soldiers to walk through into Babylon and conquer it, likely with the help from some traitor on the inside who would open the gates. That is the event most likely referred to here, told by the Greek historian Herodotus, but also referred to maybe in Isaiah 44 verses 24 and onwards. So this is the destruction of the spiritual Babylon we are now prepared for, and for that battle we are taken to Armageddon. What is Armageddon? The word Armageddon is composed of two. The first syllable is clearly identifiable. That is a common Hebrew word for mountain, Ha. The latter part of the word, Megiddo, also associates for most people with the city of Megiddo. Megiddo was a major city. It was on a plain in the northern part of Israel, and in scriptural history several significant military battles took place around Megiddo. Problem? There's no mountain around Megiddo. If you visit Megiddo, you are able to the northeast to see a range of mountain tops. None is particularly conspicuous, and people will point to that place and say, one of these is Carmel. So people say this is what is behind the scene here. The Armageddon is Mount Carmel, where the prophet Elijah had his battle with the prophets of Baal. I think there is, not least linguistically, a better solution which fits the overall theme of the book of Revelation extremely well. In chapter 9 you had another instance where John is mentioning a Hebrew term, that's Abaddon, in Greek Apollyon. And like here, it's likely that it goes back to a quite specific text. When he refers to Hebrew, you will want to find it in the Hebrew scripture. And I think that's possible. Let's read from Isaiah chapter 14. In Isaiah chapter 14, the prophet sings a dirge. This is a funeral dirge. This is an elegy on the king of Babylon. And while doing so, he in his description clearly moves beyond the more naturalistic description of the earthly king of Babylon. He is describing the spiritual power behind the great enemy of the people of God. Let us read from verse 12. How you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of dawn. How you're cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. The origin behind O day star, son of dawn in the Vulgate Latin translation is Lucifer. This is a power behind the king of Babylon. In a typical Old Testament fashion, you point not only to the earthly king but also to the spiritual power behind. And this is the ambition of that power. Verse 13, you said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. This is the ambition of the devil, to take the position on the throne of God that belongs to Christ alone. This is a major theme of the book of Revelation, which, by the way, also contains references to this fallen star. Chapter 9, verse 1, and during the third of the trumpets. So back to this text. Notice what is said. The king of Babylon and the power behind wants to set his throne on high on the mount of assembly. This expression is in Hebrew Ha Moed. What is that? What kind of mountain? The term Moed is a common Hebrew term. It is used consistently in the Hebrew Bible about the place or the group or the time that that is gathered on Mount Zion. This is a reference to the place of the sanctuary festivals. You would say, well, isn't it said that it's in the north? In Psalm 48:2, Zion is said to be in the far north. This is not to be taken geographically. That has a symbolic meaning in God's overcoming all other contenders to his throne. Moed is in Hebrew composed of 3 basic consonants: Mem, Ayin, and Dalet. The Ayin is problematic when you listen to Armagedon, because there you have a D sound like in Gamma, the Greek letter. But in the sound history of Ayin, there is a D as well. Ayin is the first letter in names like Gaza, Gomorrah. So the D and the D in Gad is natural to read in the Ha-Moed. So here you have it. In the context of the book of Revelation, the term Ha-Moed as a reference back to Isaiah 14 fits extremely well. The king of Babylon, the power behind the earthly enemies of the people of God, the king of Babylon, Satan himself, aspires to take the position on the throne of God that belongs to Christ alone. Where have you just seen Christ? On Mount Zion. This is the place the devil wants to conquer. He has no chance. The Lamb is the victor. I hope you would stand with the Lamb. I hope you will be among those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. Thank you for listening to another tidbit from the book of Revelation.